working more on the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula is a very important, very interesting formula, and we're going to practice more today. We're going to practice a little bit more tomorrow, and we actually will use this quadratic formula on the next couple of weeks until the end of chapter 7. Several things that you can do with the quadratic formula, let's review. Let's review because we started on last Friday working on quadratic formula to solve quadratic equations and functions, right? We have on last Friday we worked on this example. The equation is 2x squared minus 3x equals 5, and we want to find the solution. We want to apply the quadratic formula to solve this equation. Well, there's a problem because the equation needs to be on the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Needs to be on this form so you can identify a, b, and c and plug into the formula, right? But this equation here is not. This is not equals to 0. This is 2x squared minus 3x equals to 5. What should we do? Well, we need to change, right? To apply addition property of equality, we can move this to the left-hand side of the equation, and will become, is a positive, will become a negative. Now we have 2x squared minus 3x minus 5 equals 0. This is the right form. We can find a, b, and c. Plugging into the formula, simplify, and at the end you're going to have two different answers. 3 plus or minus the square root of 49 over 4, and the square root of 49 is 7, so you have x equals 3 plus 7 over 4, or x equals 3 minus 7 over 4. Oops, there is a problem. Some numbers are missing. Can you help me find it? Can anyone can help me find the final answer, the right answer? Because some numbers are missing. I will select a couple of students to help me out, okay? And let me see on the list. For the first one, I'm going to tell Maddie and Chrisdel. Yes, it's kind of right, Chrisdel. I think you just inverted. Chrisdel, I think you just inverted because I think you thought the right answer, but you typed it inverted. Because it's right, 10 over 4. Correct, Maddie, nice. And then you can simplify. You divide the numerator and the denominator by 2, and this becomes 5 over 2. So Chrisdel is right, Maddie is right, and I just think it's inverted, right, Chrisdel? Maybe when you type, it was inverted. And the second one, I think smiling is right, because 3 minus 7 is negative 4. Negative 4 over 4, and negative 4 divided by 4 is negative 1. Negative 1 is the right answer. Thank you, Smiling. Thank you. Thank you, Makina. Thank you, Kalia. Thank you, Chrisdel and Maddie. Those are the right answers. I'm happy that you remember. And if you still if you're still confused, that's not a problem, because you're going to practice more with quadratic formula. But I'm happy you are kind of remembering, and you can apply it. You can calculate it. Let's move. Thank you. Let's move on. Today we're going to work more on the quadratic formula. Important, very, very important. Again, I'm repeating, but it's because it's so important. The equation needs to be on the right form. And the form is this: ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. But that's going to be a problem. Check it out. This is the right form. Oops. Ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, right? This is the right form. But if you notice, this equation is not in the right form. We want to solve using the quadratic equation, the quadratic formula, but the equation is not in the right form. How can we do? How can we solve it? The answer is we need to simplify. And first, we can apply distributive property because you have x and you have parentheses, right? X times parentheses x minus 6. So apply distributive property here. And we're going to have x times x squared, x times negative 6 equals negative 8. Now move the negative 8 from the left hand side, the right hand side, to the left hand side of the equation, because I need to have this equals to 0. Now we will have x squared minus 6x plus 8 equals 0. And now it looks nice. Check this. We can find a equals 1. We can find b equals negative 6. And we can find c, positive 8. We have a, b, and c. We can plug in the formula. The formula is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, right, over 2 times a. Now, and we are plugging in the numbers b squared, negative 6 squared, minus 4 times a times c, and a is 1 times c is 8, okay, over 2 times 1. Here, now let's simplify. X equals negative 6 positive 6 plus or minus the square root. Negative 6 squared is 36 minus 4 times 8, 32 over 2. Okay? And we will have 6 plus or minus square root of 36 minus 32, 4 over 2. 6 plus or minus 2 over 2. And then we will have the first solution is x1 equals 6 minus 2 over 2, which is 6 minus 2, 4, divided by 2, 2, or 6 plus 2, 8. Oops, let me just show this step by step. 6 plus 2 over 2. 8 divided by 2, 4. We have two solutions, two right answers. One is 2 and the other one is 4. Okay. Let me show the whole thing, the whole problem. So let me know if you understand the thing, if you have any questions about any particular step, any number that popped up and you don't know where it came from. Check the bell work. Today you have to find the maximum volume that this toolbox can carry inside, and you're gonna need two little things. One is the formula. The volume equals the width times the height times the length of the box, right? Very simple formula. And another little thing, as a clue we're gonna give you. If you try to calculate it and you're not able, you're still confused, you can guess. And the number is going to be between 250 and 500 squared cubic inches. Okay? So keep this in mind. To solve the bell work today, you're going to need this formula here. You're going to also need this range if you want to guess. But it's we have a square, something like that, x, and the area is 25 square inches. That means x times x, which is equals x squared, equals 25 square inches, right? This is something that we can see, we know from the picture. But we can apply the square root property on this equation. X squared equals 25. Apply square root property, square root on both sides of this equation. And you have x equals square root of 25, 5, right? And you don't need to be worried about positive or negative answer. We just have positive because they are dimensions, so positive 5. Now calculate the volume. The volume is width times height times length. What's the width? X. The height, x as well. And the length, 3x. This is equals 3x cubed, right? And x we found is 5. You can do this math in your head, but I strongly suggest you to check also with the calculator, just to make sure you got the right answer, you didn't make any mistake in the math. 3 times x is 5, and cubed, 5 cubed is 125, times 3, 375. 375 is going to be the right answer. So you type here on forms, the right answer is 375. This is cubic inches. Okay? 375 cubic inches. And we have, I think we have a way. Oh, give me a feedback if it's working. I'm sharing with you the whiteboard, and you're going to solve equations by using the quadratic formula. But there is a problem, because this first equation we're going to solve here, letter A, is not in the right form. We need the equation to be in the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, right? And if you look, this is not the right form. This is completely different. But you can change. You can find by applying the first thing, apply the distributive property, and then you have w times w squared. Oops. W times w squared. W times negative 6 minus 6w. And we can move this positive 7 to the left hand side of the equation, becomes a negative 7. Minus 7 equals 0. Now this is in the right form. Check this. A equals 1, B equals negative 6, C equals negative 7. Apply now the formula. W equals negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac. This is the quadratic formula. You need to have this on a paper by your side, and you can have a formula sheet, or you can have just a paper with this formula. We will use a lot, so plug in the numbers. B is negative 6, negative with negative positive 6, plus or minus. The square root. B squared, negative square is 36, negative 6 squared 36, minus 4 times 1 times c, negative 4 times negative 7, negative 28, positive 28, over 2 times 1. And we will have w equals 6 plus or minus square root of 64 over 2. And you can play with the whiteboard, but try to leave my solution here. No problem. 6. Positive 6. Okay. Now we have 6 plus or minus 8 over 2. And 1. You're changing my answers. No problem. The answers here for letter A are going to be W equals -1 and 7 when you complete. Okay? W. Now try by yourselves, and you can play. For letter J, we have the coefficients are fractions. So the first thing you have to do is to get rid of the fractions. We don't want to work with fractions, right? Find the least common denominator, and it's going to be the highest denominator on this case. You have 4, 4, and 2, and 4 is going to be the least common denominator. Multiply both sides of the equation by 4. So multiply by 4 here, and multiply 0 by 4 is 0, and you're going to have 4 times 1 over 4 is just 1, W2. 4 times 7 over 4 is just 7. And 4 times 3, 12, divided by 2, 6, equals 0. Right? You have to find out A, B, and C, and plug into the formula. W equals -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Plug in the numbers, and you're going to find the solution. -b, -7, plus or minus the square root. b squared, 7 squared, 49, minus 4 times 1, 4 times c, 24, over 2 times 1. And you're going to have W equals -7 plus or minus 49 minus 24, 25, over 2. -7 plus or minus 5 over 2. And you're going to have two solutions. W equals -7 minus 5, -12, divided by 2, -6, and -7 plus 5, -2, divided by 2, -1. The answers are -6 and -1. For letter J, okay, Maddie, I'm gonna check it out. For, let's see, letter J, and you also asked about letter K, right? Talia and Jacob. Let's find letter K. We have decimals here on letter K. To make it easier to work, instead of working with those decimals, we're going to multiply both sides of the equation by 100. Multiply both sides by 100 to get rid of the decimals. We're going to work only with whole numbers. See? Because when you multiply 100 by 0.01, you're going to have 1. 1x squared plus multiply 100 by 0.06, and you have 6 times x, and multiply 100 by 0.08, you have 8 equals 0, right? You can identify A easily now, A, B, and C, and plugging into the formula. X equals negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. This is going to be plugging the numbers. B is 6, negative 6 plus or minus square root 6 squared, 36, minus 4 times a, 4 times 8, 32, over 2 times 1. The answer at the end, you will have x equals negative 4 and negative 2. That's it for today. Let me give you at least the answers. So we didn't have time to work, but you can check. J, K, L, G, and I. J. Edwin, if you feel free to go to the other class. Welcome. Thank you. We can put the laptop in the rack. Have a good day.
You too, mister. Have a good day.